join the Canary Cry new stock producers and make some refrigerator art for the show. Show your support with your talent at canarycry.party. Your mom will thank you.
Razzle Dazzle, it's Body by Basil, the new exciting fitness craze that will get you Canary Cry swole in no time at all. Just listen to these quotes from our participants. My muscles are huge. It's all or Nephilim. You'll be an apocalypse warlord in no time. Don't wait. Order today and save 33% for just 4 easy payments of only $33.33. You too can have the body of a googly eye VR headset wearing Nephilim warlord.
A new, raw deconstruction of news and analysis. Introducing Canary Cry New Stalk, the new intense fragrance made specifically for thinking outside the cage. From your favorite podcasters, Basil and Goms.
Gons, can you hear me? I'm hearing reports about a prototype FLIPPY arm.
Don't tell me. FLIPPY is coming for our jobs.
That's right. You know what this means.
Yeah, it's wake-up time. Think outside the cage.
All right, can you guys hear me? I can't tell if this is working or not. Chat, if you're on Rumble, if you're on YouTube, let me know if it's working. I'm testing out to see if I can live stream on all the platforms where we live stream, which is Rumble, Kick, Rockfin, Odyssey, YouTube, X, and I am seeing if I can run this episode on Spaces at the same time. I don't even know if it's possible. Well, let's see. Let's find out. Basil's out today. I'll explain what's going on in a moment. Yeah. Trying to do a whole bunch of things at once here. Text message is out. Email is out. Posting this real quick on X, just posting the link to the Spaces. There's a lot of things to manage. So a Spaces and a regular feed. You want to watch the video's going. And let's see. Yeah, okay, so thank you for being here. We'll get the show started in just a minute here. And glad you're able to make it. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Wednesday. It is Wednesday, my dudes, and running this show solo this episode, which was not expected, but that's okay. Things happen. People have places to be, like Basil, my co-host. And in fact, if you're in Twitter Spaces, I see a couple of you in there. If you're in the Spaces, go ahead, click that bubble on the bottom right, and tag at Basil_Rosewater. Trying out this method of trying to get people's attentions and trying to get the attention of my co-host. So let's do that. Okay, what do we got? We got a few more seconds here. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Text messages are out. So if you, maybe not. Hold on. Okay, sometimes this thing can be a little finicky. All right, let me see if I have to redo this text message here. Running out of time. About a minute left of the countdown music. All right, here we go. Let's try this. Oh, no. Okay, well, it's not working out too well. Oh, there's always something. There's always something that stops working and fails. Gotta love technology. Gotta love social media. All right, here we go. I'm trying this again. Come on, Textly. A little machine. Okay, well, I ran out of time. I'm going to go ahead and play this pre-show prayer from Anthony H., and then we'll get the show going.
Hello, guys. This is Anthony H. Just want to say we love you, thank you, and a little prayer. Oh, Father, we thank you. Lord, we come to you humbly in Jesus' name. And thank you, Father, again, Lord, for getting us through and always helping us to be strong, Father. Thank you for Basil and Gons, Lord, and the Canary Cry community and all that they do, Lord. And, just every wonderful thing, Lord, that they've done and all the little effects that it has on all of us, Lord, and, the little ripples as it goes out, Lord, and so again, Lord, blessings for them and their families, Lord, and their households and this ministry, Lord. And again, thank you so much for the producers and everybody who needs prayer, Father. We just thank you so much, Lord, for answering prayers, Lord, and for doing miracles in these days. And, we know that things are tough, Lord, but if you be for us, Father, who can be against us? And so, again, Lord, we thank you for this Canary Cry community, Father, and just blessings for Basil and Gons always. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gons as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. It is... What day is it? July 3rd, 2024. Episode number 754. Today, Joe Unstoppable. My name is Gons. Basil's out today. But it's okay. I'm here. I'm the director of the Age of Deceit films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from California, the land of New Scum, to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's emergent phenomena, unstoppable. Joe is unstoppable. We'll talk a little bit about that today. So before we do anything today, if you follow us, last week we had to run an early Wednesday episode because I had a dentist appointment and I scheduled the dentist appointment. Actually, I did. My wife did, and I couldn't really get out of it. And Basil was giving me a little bit of a hard time for scheduling a dentist appointment on a show day and how he is so much better because he suffered for a couple weeks to make sure that his dentist appointment after he cracked his tooth is not on a show day. Well. Basil texted me last night and said, hey, I got a dentist appointment tomorrow. It's at a really bad time. Might have to skip out. So I said, okay, no problem. Run the show solo, not an issue. But don't go too hard on Gons, don't go too hard on me. Might come back to bite you if you have any teeth left after all this. So anyway, that's where Basil is. He's in the dentist chair. Who knows? He might be listening right now. I mean, he could be just tuning in from his dentist chair. And also, for those of you who are listening to the RSS feed, a little experiment today. I'm running the show live, obviously. Normal video, everything's up, especially on X and Rumble, YouTube. It looks like we're doing good. We're on Kick, we're on Rockfin, we're on Odyssey. And also, I'm streaming the audio to X Spaces on my page. And actually, I forgot to do all of my extra social media duties. As once we go live, I usually click on some things and share things and stuff like that. So I need to do that as I talk here. So, and if you were around yesterday, or if you are listening to the RSS feed, you'll see that there was an X Spaces published on the RSS on both Canary Cry Radio and Canary Cry News Talk yesterday. And it was a great Spaces. I think we're going to really lean in and do a lot more Spaces because it's just easier to get people to hop on stage and chat. And I was able to have a conversation with a couple of knights. Sir Darren was there, and Sir Dylan was also there, and they both hopped up on stage. We had a little conversation. It's a great way to actually have conversations. It is public and everything, but with our producers who have been with us for such a long time. So it was a really cool experience. Go check it out if you haven't, and make sure to get an X account. If you don't, then you may miss out on some of the live X Spaces stuff. And I am trying to build up, and I've been praying about it, to build some kind of unified front thing going on X where we can make a little noise and present ourselves in a unified manner. So, all that said, let's play real quick the disclaimer. I guess we're on YouTube, so we have to play the disclaimer. There's a few different versions of the disclaimer now. I don't know which one we settled on, but let me just play one of these to get things going. It's the short version of the second disclaimer video. There's like a third tribute disclaimer video, music sound thing. We're just gonna do the basic one, or not the basic one, but the. All right, never mind. I'm just gonna play the disclaimer.
This is not the greatest disclaimer, no. Just a tribute to a message we let go. They didn't listen, but we'll play it loud. Our anthem, we shout it proud. Through the static and the noise we fight, our voices lost, but our hearts ignite. A disclaimer forged from rock so pure, yet silence now, but our spirit endures. This is not the greatest disclaimer, no. Just a tribute to a message we let go.
We're good boys. We're good boys.
Yep. No matter how much we try to disclaim ourselves, YouTube will dig back to 300 episodes ago and give us strikes. It's just a matter of time. All right, let's do a quick rundown. A little bit of a shorter episode today, but something pretty cool in the works is this idea that we're going to be publishing things nearly every day of the week. Not every day, but nearly. You'll have content almost every day. We're working on it. Here's a little rundown for today's episode.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
Yeah, this is Gons in for Basil. First up, we're going to talk a little bit about Trump and Epstein. Some new documents were released, and there's some stuff to talk about concerning Trump and Epstein, apparently. I mean, we've known about some of the history, but the documents are released. Some new ones, and it's melting down all the people. We'll see what that's all about. And then we'll touch back on Joe Biden just because it's sort of the big talk. Everyone's talking about Joe, and the Democrats don't want Joe anymore. But man, is Joe resilient. Joe is unstoppable. And then we'll do a Flippy update. And this Flippy update is truly a throwback to one of the first Canary Cry things that we ever published back in 2012. We talked about, I don't know if we used the word organoids, but that's what they were. They were little brain cells on microchips, and we were discussing it from a movie called Technocalypse. But here we are again. Brain in a jar biocomputers can now learn to control robots, which is interesting. It's nothing new, but seems to be hitting the news wire. Then we'll discuss briefly about transhumanism and how a new podcast asked if the world is really enchanted or disenchanted. Yeah, very interesting concerning the idea that we've been talking about re-enchantment of the secular world for the last few years. And then how an airplane mechanic named Bernie Roth became the first Jew to set foot on Antarctica. Yeah, okay, that's cool, but there's something about this man that It's a little more nefarious than just like being a Jew. That's not really the problem. We'll talk about that. All right, let's dig in.
It's Latin for many. Tick. Now suck your blood. Now suck
Politics.
your blood.
We're going to start off with some Trump news that came out today.
We will launch a new age. I am
Innocent. Innocent.
They're coming after me.
And it's concerning some Epstein documents.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yeah, good to play some of these old jingles. Okay, so I am taking this from timesofindia.com because we've discussed over and over again on the show how with thanks to Smith-Mundt, the Modernization Act in 2013 and 14, propaganda in a certain way, state propaganda became legalized in America in a certain way, or at least not directly, but they created a very obvious loophole where the American West can't necessarily report certain things, but the state or the government will publish information through foreign outlets like the Times of India, and then the U.S. picks up on that, and Yahoo will mirror it, or New York Times will write an article and they'll say, "Oh, the Times of India said this," or whatever. It's a little sneaky tactic to propagandize state information or state propaganda, and do it in a way that's a little bit confusing if you're not paying attention. If you don't know how everything works under the hood, you might think it's just a genuine piece of news, but we know a lot of this news is propaganda. It is social engineering and everything else. So, all right, the headline here coming from timesofindia.com. Before marrying Melania in 2005, and that's in quotes, what new documents claim about Trump Epstein? All right, so now everyone's focused on Joe and how old he is. Well, the old Epstein-Trump card has been played again. New documents, which were unreleased so far, claim that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were closer than it was believed. Transcripts show Trump called Epstein many times between 2004 and 2006. The screenshots were sealed in 2008 as part of Alexander Acosta's deal for Jeffrey Epstein and were released on July 1st. The fresh revelation has an anti-Trump camp up. The fresh revelation has the anti-Trump camp up in the arms ahead of the election. I think this is Times of India making a little mistake here. They're up in arms. Up in arms, Times of India, not up in the arms. I was about to do a India. Well, I'll just go ahead and do it. It's the Indian population. The English doesn't necessarily sit well a lot of times with them, and they're just sitting there. The anti-Trump camp is up in the arms. They're up in the arms ahead of the election. Quote, Trump's name appears over and over again on Jeffrey Epstein's message. Okay, pay close attention. This is a quote. All right? This is how they do it. They quote individuals. They'll tell you who they quote in a second here, but just remember, this is a quote. This is not the documents. Quote, Trump's name appears over and over again on Jeffrey Epstein's message logs in the grand jury docs released this week. It is also undisputed. Trump's name appears 7 times on Epstein's private jet flight logs that Epstein flew on Trump's jet with a young girl of indeterminate age. Girls who Epstein trafficked worked at Mar-a-Lago. A girl Epstein trafficked mentioned visiting Trump's casino in a recently released deposition transcript. Trump said Epstein is a great guy who likes girls on the younger side. Trump frequently, quote unquote, partied with Epstein. This is all like one sentence. There's a couple periods in there. Let's see. Trump wished Ghislaine Maxwell well at her criminal trial, and someone who testified under the pseudonym Jane Doe at the Ghislaine Maxwell criminal trial stated that she was introduced to Trump by Epstein when she was 14 years old, end quote. A user posted on X. Thanks, Times of India, for not summarizing the documents, but just quoting a user who posted on X. I mean, I'm not even suggesting that this quote or the information is wrong or anything. It's just weird. It's just weird how news outlets, especially foreign news outlets, they just quote random people on X, and it's news. And that's kind of their summary of the given situation. Back to the main article here. As the transcripts went viral on X, a community note claimed Donald Trump and Epstein talked about a piece of real estate in which they both were interested. Citing a report of the Washington Post, it said they fell out over the issue. And yes, they have another embedded tweet from Melania PR Media, sort of documenting some of these things. Again, some of this is old news. So again, the witch hunt is on. We know this, but just to raise the level of chaos in both directions, I think we are seeing the election stuff ramp up even more here. I think we'll really see it kick off when we get to about 90 days out of the elections, and then with each week, each day, it's just going to get crazier. Okay, now Times of India is trying to give their little bullet points here. What are the new revelations? One, according to reports, the Trump phone messages now released were in the file marked triangle, which was code for the Epstein case. Okay, interesting. Triangle, huh? Illuminati confirmed. Before marrying Melania in 2005, Trump was calling Jeffrey Epstein on the regular in 2004. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, all right. Trump was calling Jeffrey Epstein. Number 3, the newly revealed messages are reportedly in between girls calling to confirm massage appointments. All right. Not great. We know Trump, was he was like a billionaire mogul guy, and I think he was not married at the time. I don't know. I mean, these are okay, fine, like whatever. I'm not saying, I'm not endorsing. I'm just saying some of this stuff we already know. The transcripts reveal that Florida prosecutors were aware of Epstein's sexual transgression 2 years before they cut a plea deal. Number 5, the transcripts show that the grand jury heard testimony that Epstein, who was then in his 40s, had raped teenage girls as young as 14, yada, yada, yada. We know about all this stuff. This is all Epstein stuff, not Trump. 6, another teenager told detectives that she was 17 years old when she was approached by a friend who said she could make $200 by providing a massage at Epstein's home. End of article. So Times of India is providing a quote from an ex-user and some bullet points with things that are less than, I don't know, groundbreaking. These are things that have been fairly known. So this is why I believe this is part of the, maybe this was Joe Biden's camp trying to, get the heat off of him a little bit. Let the Democrats start focusing on something else, because right now all the Democrats are eating their own, trying to take Joe down from their own ship right now. So we'll see what comes of this. I would argue not much. I don't know that it would really, it affirms, it's interesting because it affirms if you're on the left of the aisle and you're anti-Trump, this is just more fuel to add to the anti-Trump stuff. If you're more in the middle and you've been somebody who's, I don't know, critical of Trump, but not necessarily like a left liberal type person, then this would, again, be another example of why men like Trump are not to be trusted. And look, he's a politician. All politicians, to a degree, should not be trusted. And those are things that are pretty basic from my perspective, the perspective of people that hang out here. So, and then on the right, I don't know that this changes any minds, to be honest. This might stir some people to go a little more middle, or at least go off of Trump in some regard. Maybe, I don't know. But I think we need to see and hear more details, and we need more analysis of the actual documents that were released to really know what was going on. And it seems like a political play to me. At this point, everything related to Trump and documents released and all this kind of stuff, it's all political. We know that. So again, I don't know that this sways anybody too much. Maybe if you're a really, really hard anti-vaxxer and you were turned off by Trump's warp speed thing, which I thought he was pretty sneaky in the debate, because the way he framed it was, because it was, it was a debate with Joe. The way Trump framed the vaccine issue was, was, I think it was something to the effect of people didn't like the mandates. It wasn't that people are against the vaccines. I mean, he didn't say that, but he was sort of reframing the whole thing as, look, the people didn't like the mandates. That's what people were against, which is true. It's not an untrue statement, but I would argue it also fired up just your anti-vaxxers that existed prior to COVID, which I know it's hard to believe for some people, but yes, anti-vaxxers did exist prior to COVID. And I think they were very disappointed with Trump's warp speed thing. And maybe they're the ones that are voting. They're going to vote for RFK Jr. or something like that. And maybe that's the play. Maybe they're trying to get both sides, the Republican side and the Democrat side, to lean in more on RFK Jr. Who knows? I doubt it, but it's another possibility. So just keeping an eye on this stuff. I don't have much more to say about it in terms of the Epstein and Trump thing, other than to say that the more, of course, the sentiment being that we have documents of, I mean, we, the public, but also the authorities have a list of people who literally flew to the island and did horrific things. And those people are fine. They're immune. They're no problem. But when it comes to Trump, of course, there's the witch hunt type of deal. And, you know, we know that this whole politics thing is a scam. It's all kayfabe. So you got to have a good guy, you got to have a bad guy, you got to have your teams. And so a story like this just continues to add fuel to the fire when it comes to the two sides of politics, which is still the same ugly bird, if you ask me. And speaking of which, let's talk about Joe real quick.
Armageddon's on the way.
Got hairy legs. Got the Joe. Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. Hairy. Got hairy legs. Hairy COVID. Get vaccinated.
Yeah, we've had a whole bunch of Joe ISOs from early in his presidency, and I haven't been keeping up with adding any new ones because the flubs were, I mean, it was literally every single time he speaks publicly, there's one or two moments where he's saying ridiculous things or he's, you know, mumbling and whatever, which is kind of funny because now I play some of these clips back, and I think Joe was, he was a little bit more alert. He was more able to articulate certain things, you know, things like this.
This is not about freedom or personal choice.
He's got some juice in his voice there. You know, his threats were a little bit more, I don't know, just less shaky.
We will hunt you down and make you pay.
Of course, he was still flubbing all kinds of stuff back then. But here we go. We have the story here coming from CNN. The headline, as Biden digs in, some top Democrats want him out of the race this week. This week, folks. I love this. CNN starting the article out. Defiance has become as much a part of Joe Biden's psychology as Delaware. Joe Biden, the defiant one. But as the president and his inner circle dig in following his disastrous debate performance last week, a growing number of Democratic leaders are saying they want him to step aside for the good of the party and the country. Democratic Representative Lloyd Doggett, is that how you say it? Doggett of Texas was the first to break ranks. Quote, I represent the heart of the congressional district once represented by Lyndon Johnson. Under very different circumstances, he made the painful decision to withdraw. President Biden should do the same, Doggett said in his statement Tuesday. Quote, there's a large and increasing group of House Democrats concerned about the president's candidacy, representing a broad swath of the caucus, end quote. Another House Democratic lawmaker told CNN on condition of anonymity to speak candidly. Quote, we are deeply concerned about his trajectory and his ability to win. We want to give him space to make a decision to step aside, but we will be increasingly vocal about our concerns if he doesn't. That's a threat. They're threatening Joe.
We will hunt you down and make you pay.
I'm curious what they're going to try to pull off here, to be honest. It won't take much. I mean, like a banana peel would do it. You know, he's a fragile old man. I'm kind of concerned for Joe's well-being. I mean, obviously, he's an old man. He's fallen apart, and he can't keep a sentence together. He can't really present himself in a way where he's instilling confidence, and not just the Democrats, but just people in general. Your random normie American who doesn't pay attention to politics, they're even looking at Joe saying like, "Dude, you're old, man. Step down." So if he doesn't, which he doesn't seem to want to, I'm very curious what the lengths at which the Democrat leadership will go to take him down. And clearly, it might not be kosher to use tactics they use against other political opponents, whether that's, who knows? I mean, it'd be great if there was an Epstein document that comes out with Joe, but I don't think Joe knew what was going on with that stuff. He's more of the, Ukraine stuff that is really incriminating in terms of publicly available information. Back in 2013, 2014, using bribes and protecting his son and all that kind of stuff that we know most people are up to speed on. And it says here, Biden is expected to meet Wednesday, that's today, with Democratic governors and congressional leaders, the White House said Tuesday. The announcement came after CNN reported that some governors expressed concerns about the president's debate performance. The governors, one source said, were worried about going public with their concerns out of fear it would lead Biden to digging in further. I love it. The Democratic leadership are able to say things anonymously to CNN to protect themselves, but also because if they go public, Joe might double down. Joe and Jill might double down, and we don't need that. CNN talked to more than 24 current and former Democratic officials, as well as donors and longtime Biden allies, all of whom spoke on condition of anonymity to avoid alienating Biden. I think it's hilarious that CNN is basically saying publicly, this is a public story, obviously, publicly stating, yeah, they're going behind Joe's back. The leadership is going behind Joe's back. They're telling us how they feel. And there will be consequences, Joe. Joe, we're talking behind your back, buddy. Just step down. We don't need you to do this anymore. Many of these people say they have already made up their minds that the president should quit his campaign, a decision some of them think he needs to announce this week. They've held off going to Biden directly, hoping he would make the decision himself, but patience is wearing thin. Multiple Democrats told CNN amid signs that Biden has taken no steps to seriously consider the mounting concerns. He is poised to travel to swing states this weekend, aides said, a sign that he has no plans of changing course. On Tuesday, ABC News announced Biden will sit down with George Stephanopoulos for his first TV interview since the debate, with clips airing on Friday. Initially, there was hope that the president's family would convince him to step aside, given how badly the debate went. However, at the Biden retreat Sunday at Camp David, it became apparent the president's family rallied around his decision to continue his campaign, blaming staff for his missteps. That's a low blow, Joe. Come on, man. Blaming his staff? Come on. If you're going to be the leader of this country, for anybody out there who's going to be a leader of anything, but especially of this country, allegedly, or if you're going to, play the puppet master or the puppet man, or the puppet of the social engineers, you better be able to have a little bit of self-accountability publicly. Like the fact that Joe won't come out and say, he tried to do that thing where he's like, I may not speak as well as I used to, and I tell the truth, and all that. All those drugs kicked in when he was doing the rally the day after. But that's not accountability. He's still not really saying like, yeah, I didn't do great in the debate. That's what the Democrats might even have a little bit of a soft heart for Joe if Joe comes out and says, yeah, I'm old. The debate didn't go well, but I'm going to do my best. We're going to keep pressing forward. That might do better than the staff. It's the staff. They're the reasons why things went bad, which is just, it's so, I don't know. It's just a terrible thing. Quote, one word you know about Biden, stubborn. said one senior Democratic official who has publicly supported Biden in the past, but who privately thinks he needs to step aside. Quote, they're trying to give him the space to realize what a disaster this is, end quote. And while the Biden campaign has insisted the debate was just a bad night for the 81-year-old president, the Democrats who want him to step aside say it was not a one-off incident that can be fixed. Quote, it's not like Obama being rusty for a debate, said a senior Democratic official, referring to former President Barack Obama's lackluster performance in his first debate against Republican opponent Mitt Romney in 2012. Quote, Biden might be able to survive this if this was the only incident, but it won't be the only incident, said a senior Capitol Hill Democratic official. What does he know? It's almost like an underhanded threat. You know, it's an anonymous Democratic official from a senior Capitol Hill Democratic official who's, I mean, there's not that many of them, are there? He's you know, for the sake of anonymity, he's not named, but he is quoted in CNN that, you know, he might be able to survive the elections if this was his only incident, which I don't know what he's paying attention to. Joe's had the entire Joe public address, his PR has been one giant incident, from tripping on sandbags to forgetting where he is to mumbling to wandering around to who knows what happened to his his undergarments. I mean, it's just one big incident. So I don't know what he's been watching, but the fact that he's like, if it was one thing, it'd be, but it won't be the only incident. I think this is just a speculation based on some of these quotes here. But if Joe doesn't step down, I think there's already people who think that Joe is set up with this debate to look old, to look like it was like part of the Democrat strategy to let him fail, you know, as part of the Trump strategy, just let Joe talk. He'll sort of do his, fumble his own self and everybody will be convinced that he's too old. If that is true, and I wouldn't be surprised if I lean heavily towards yes, it's true that the Democratic Party used this opportunity with the debate to show the frailty of Joe Biden and try to get the country, or at least the Democrat crowd, to support the idea of Joe step down. We need somebody else in. But the senior Capitol Hill Democratic official saying, but it won't be the only incident, leads me to believe that they're planning something should Joe make it to the next debate. Or whatever, sort of public address he makes, whether it's a speech or rally or whatever it might be. It won't be the only incident. I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me. The article goes on, and there's a few quotes from people that are named. We got Nancy Pelosi. She spoke up. Nancy Pelosi called on Biden to participate in multiple interviews with journalists in the aftermath of his debate performance. The California Democrat who emphasized it is Biden's decision about whether to step aside said she has heard, quote, mixed responses to the debate from donors and others in her Democratic network. Ooh, she's it's the network. Quote, I think it's a legitimate question to say, is this an episode or is this a condition? End quote, Pelosi said, referring to Biden's debate performance. Again, these people, have they not been paying attention? She quickly added that this was a legitimate question for former President Donald Trump as well, citing his repeated lies during the debate. Of course, they go back to the lies, even though Joe spit out several lies himself, which, again, man, there's so many. This op worked so well for so many different reasons. It's very well crafted because it allowed for the replace Joe agenda to move forward in full force from the left and Democrat side. And then you're able to distract from anything Joe said that was a lie or wrong or something like that, because who cares? Nobody cares. He's an old man. He didn't know what he was doing. He did nothing. So he's immune to all the mistakes or, untruths that he spoke while he was debating Trump. So yeah, you get to kill two birds with one stone in that regard. So there you go. And then the decision hands the former president a significant legal win and, quote, makes Trump even more dangerous. Oh, he's talking. Oh, I skipped the thing. This is about the Supreme Court ruling on Monday. Again, CNN spinning it, saying that it's going to, make Trump a tyrant type thing, which we covered that on Monday. So there you go. There's not much more I want to read. This is a long article, obviously. There is a section, no clear fix. The same small insular inner circle that has guided Biden to this point is handling the fallout. Few familiar with how the members of that circle work believe it would be possible to force any of them out. That it would be possible. Still, top aides at the Biden campaign and the Democratic National Committee have spent the days since the debate on a constant churn of calls. Several people involved say that many of those calls have started badly, but ended at least somewhat better. Okay. The calls started off badly, ended at least somewhat better. Weird. And the Biden campaign on Tuesday announced that June was its best fundraising month ever, with $127 million banked, with almost a third of it raised since the debate. I mean, how do you argue against that? Hey, Joe's old, we need a replacement. Yeah, but look at the cash. Look at the cash coming in. $127 million. Most of it after the debate. Who are the Democrats out there sending in money after the debate? Oh yeah, he's getting old. He can't hold a sentence. He can't stay up there. We got to end the debate a half hour early. Give him $1,000. He needs $1,000. He needs stronger drugs, whatever it is. I still would like to see Joe be outfitted with Neuralink and be the first cyborg presidential candidate. And he's able to pull up facts right there in his brain. That'd be cool. Biden campaign chair Jen O'Malley Dillon on Monday evening told members of the campaign National Finance Committee that the team is, quote, clear-eyed, not Pollyannish, end quote. Two participants on the call told CNN. She did not telegraph anything about Biden's plans other than full steam ahead. There he goes. There goes Joe. He's going to keep pushing forward, and I'm concerned about Joe's safety, to be honest with you. And they can make it look like any old thing, just a slip. Maybe he, I mean, man, I don't want to speculate too much, but it just does not look good for Joe in terms of the powers that be on the Democrat side wanting to replace him, and even maybe making some veiled threats, I would argue. Anonymous folks in the chair of the Democratic campaign. What was it? Democratic official. Let me get the language right here. I lost it. Oh, senior Capitol Hill Democratic official. Yeah, there you go. It won't be the only incident. There shall be other incidents. It sounds like the evil puppet master. AP also reporting a similar thing. Pressure is building on Biden to step aside, but many Democrats feel powerless to replace him. They're powerless. And it's crazy that AP, they are even using the classic sort of Joe, mouth a little bit open, staring off into space. That's their header. It's not Joe smiling. It's not Joe giving a thumbs up. It's Joe looking like a man suffering from dementia. And we said it was elder abuse when he was elected. And man, is it elder abuse now. Don't you think, Joe?
Keep yapping, man.
Oh. Yeah. The flubs were always there. I'm gonna play some of the fun ones. Yeah, we need Corn Pop back. That's one thing.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
And then remember the variants?
It's called the Omicron.
The Omicron. It was actually Omicron, but Joe said it was Omicron. What's this one? I don't remember this one.
I'd be a winner.
That's right. Oh yeah, he said I'd be a winner. Not really. Trailed off. Is this the longer version?
It's not about him. It's not about me. I'd be a winner. Not really.
I'd be a winner, not really. So weird. So weird.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake. Stink minority. I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
Think he needs more. Think somebody. Oh, that could be it right there. Maybe they put some fentanyl in one of his pills.
They all want to share their data.
Yeah, at least he's not whispering anymore. That was weird. You know, at the very beginning where he whispered stuff, how they all want to share their data. What was the other one?
Get vaccinated.
I thought there was one more. There was like three whispers. It's I wrote the bill.
I wrote the bill.
That's right. That's right. You know, there's something to be said about maybe he should whisper more. Maybe that'll at least, I don't know, get people to lean in as they listen to Joe. I do want to play this clip. I didn't play this clip last episode. We had so many clips from CNN and the debate itself and the aftermath and everything. But I wanted to play this because this is John King. Again, this was that panel right after the debate. And again, just to reiterate what we talked about on Monday, as soon as the debate was over, CNN went right into, we need to replace Joe, the agenda. That thing was just ready to go. Boom, boom. And I didn't play this clip because we were just so heavy on clips that day. I will play it now. And I think it's indicative of what at least some of the Democrat leaders are telling some of these reporters and stuff over at CNN.
She has great appeal. Does she have weaknesses? Yes.
Oh, by the way, he's talking about Kamala Harris.
She has great appeal. Does she have weaknesses?
Sorry, let me play that one more time.
She has great appeal. Does she have weaknesses? Yes. Do Republicans view her as a liability? Yes. Are her polling numbers great? No. But she has appeal with the pieces of the Biden coalition where he is hurting the most. And when you go into inner city Milwaukee, what do Black Americans say? Where's the vice president? Where has she been? They want the president too, but she's right there. Is she feisty communicator, good on television, and they kept her under wrap for 3 years. Now she's out there busy on the campaign trail. I know in Republican places, you'd beat her up, but in a close competitive race when you need all hands on deck, that is an asset that should have been working for them from day one. And Joe Biden was vice president for 8 years. If there's anyone who should have understood how hard it is to be vice president, how hard it is to establish an identity as vice president, it's him.
All right. Did you notice the little quote there where he said, she is an asset? I think that's kind of a giveaway. Let me try to find it.
I know in Republican places, you'd beat her up. But in a close competitive race, when you need all hands on deck, that is an asset that should have been working for them.
That is an asset. Kamala Harris is just, it's an it, first off, that. And she's just an asset. She's an asset that should have been rolled out much sooner because Joe is a vice president. She's the vice president. They've kept her under wraps for 3 years? What? What do you mean they've kept her under? I mean, yeah, we didn't see much of Kamala. I think our Kamala Harris jingle is "Where in the World is Kamala?" So yeah, and that's the weird thing, all these left-leaning CNN anchors and stuff, they're all kind of repeating old Republican right-wing talking points now as a way to try to get Joe out. Man, it's weird. It's very weird. Let me see. Let me try to find this Kamala jingle. Here it is.
We should.
Oh, that's the eugenics. Hold on.
All kidding aside, of course, President Harris.
We got to take this stuff seriously, as seriously as you are, because you have been forced to have to take it seriously. President Harris.
That's right. Joe called her President Harris. Do you remember that? I remember that. And then there's is it this one here? Let's see. I'm trying to find the jingle.
Where in the world is
Kamala?
Yeah. Where in the world is Kamala? What else?
Because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day.
Okay. Oh, here's this one.
What you doing tomorrow?
Oh boy. Can you imagine Kamala Harris as president?
It's just the right thing to do. It's about being a good corporate citizen.
Aha! Good corporate citizen. That's right. You're just an asset. Kamala. The CNN anchor said so. So there you go. I don't know how things will play out, but we told you it's going to be a crazy year. And that seems to be the case. There was, I'm just looking up one thing real quick before we move on. And to double check here. Okay, so I'm just trying to see what the latest stuff is when it comes to mainstream media. And today is, there was a couple days where Michelle Obama was hitting the headlines. And there's certain people who think that they're going to roll out Michelle, even though I don't think necessarily she wants to do it. But, you know, she might get forced to do it based on how things are going. And I bring up Kamala because, yeah, that's as I expected. I for some reason, I don't know, maybe this was just the spirit, but I felt like today they're going to really start rolling out the Kamala thing. And sure enough, let's take a look. I'm not going to read these. I'm just going to do some headlines and, you know, maybe a sentence or two. Mother Jones, Joe Biden or Kamala Harris? Which risk is the better risk? Oh, man. Talk about, hey, this is what it's like to be living in California, folks. All Democrats on the ballot. You got to write in your own Republicans if you want anything other than a Democrat in this one-party state that we live in here, at least I live in. So there you go. Yeah, Joe Biden or Kamala, which is less risky? Interesting. And then let's see. Reuters has this headline: Kamala Harris, top choice to replace Joe Biden if he steps aside, sources say. Yeah, that's interesting. Vice President Kamala Harris is the top alternative to replace U.S. President Joe Biden if he decides not to continue his re-election campaign, according to 7 senior sources at the Biden campaign. The White House at the Democratic National Committee with knowledge of current discussions on the topic. Yeah, they sent a wave of panic, pain and panic, as Van Jones said. Yeah, I could see a Kamala Harris and Newsom as vice president play. I can see that happen. So, hooray. Benzinga, mirrored by Yahoo, they have this headline here. Odds of Kamala Harris replacing Joe Biden as Democratic presidential candidate raised by crypto bettors. Meme coin themed on her surges 126%. I told you crypto's going to get political, but come on, Benzinga. Okay, hold on. Now I got to find out. I know there was a Kamala coin that came out and it pumped, but this 126%. Okay, let me just. Okay. Let me just calm down a moment and explain that I have been an investor in cryptocurrency since 2017. I've lurked in Web3 for a while, for a few years now. I was there in the last cycle and, you know, just sort of learning what it's all about. It's the cutting edge of technology and all this kind of stuff. But it's very, very unregulated. And so you can lose all your money on a really bad gamble. It's like a casino with a lot of the meme coin stuff going on. But especially when it comes to these new coins that are launched every single day, it's out of control. Let me just play the crypto jingle here.
Is this a crypto? Crypto? Do I look like I know what a crypto is?
Okay, the crypto is called Comma. And I'm going to try something here. There's a few different places where you can actually look at the coins that are being minted every single day. I mean, it's out of control nowadays. It's ridiculous. I'm at a place, it's called Dex Screener. This is where Dex is a decentralized exchange. You can look for Comma. Let me look for Comma. Let's take a peek here. All right, Kamala Harris coin. Let's see. Fully diluted market cap, 14 million. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Let me see. Let's look at the chart here. Let's take a peek. Yeah, this thing's pumping, man. This thing is pumping. So what happens a lot of times with meme culture, meme coin culture, is something will happen and immediately somebody will make a coin based on it. And, you know, the idea is to buy in as early as possible and sell. I'm not going to be touching this one, obviously. It's the time to buy was like yesterday when it was, you know, much lower. And let's see how many. And the cool thing about this is part of the interesting thing about blockchains as well. Everything's transparent, so you can see it. You can see who the top traders are. Let's take a peek. All right, this person, the number one trader, bought, let's see, about $4,800 of Comma token and sold for $197,000. There you go. Somebody made $190,000 off of this coin already in less than 24 hours. Another person bought $7,000 and made $189,000. Yeah, so these are people, these insiders, okay? A lot of them are insiders, or not insiders per se, but these developers and, you know, the people that are running these things, it's called sniping. You can snipe the coins as soon as they go public, and you can hold a huge supply of it, and then you can dump on people as they come in. And you can see the addresses here. It looks like the same address, or at least the same beginning addresses. A lot of these are bots and stuff. But yeah, look at all these people who've made a killing on this coin already. This coin has been out for what? Less than 24 hours. It came out last night, or when did it come out? Let me see. Oh, this coin's old. Oh, okay. Let me see. This is an old coin. All right. Let's see. This coin came out in March of this year. All right. Okay, so it's going parabolic, folks. The Kamala coin is making people rich. I don't recommend anybody buy it, but yeah, there you go. This is kind of the beauty of cryptocurrencies. It's fun. And Politify tokens, it's a new thing. Political finance tokens. It's a new breed of how, I guess, we do money and coins and memes and financializing culture and all that kind of stuff. But it's just an indicator. Just consider an indicator of what what the world or what the society is feeling when it comes to this stuff. Think of it as an emotional indicator, the price action of these coins. So there you go. Benzinga and Yahoo talking about Comma coin. Hey, it surged 126%. Yay. And then let's see. This Washington Post headline here. Democrats begin to consider Harris as the top of their ticket. So there you go. Maybe Kamala has been quiet all along, and they're about to unleash the Kamala. Oh man! And actually, I think, given the election is fair, which we know it's not. We know there's a lot of hanky-panky that goes down. The other part, I get angry about this, and I rant about it often, but we have the technology to do secure elections, to make sure that votes are legitimate and all this kind of stuff. We don't use it. Instead, we use foreign machines or companies, foreign companies and their machines to do the voting. Or at least count the votes, and it's a very imperfect system, a very easily corruptible system. I would argue California is ground zero for that. Gavin Newsom got into office in some really sus circumstances. It was very similar to when Joe won the elections in 2020, because Trump was winning, and then everyone went to sleep, and then the next morning, all of a sudden, Joe had that spike, right? Joe had that pump. The same thing happened with Newsom. Everyone was noticing that I think there was a Republican at the time, and Newsom was losing, and then everyone went to bed, woke up the next morning, Newsom had pumped, and he became the governor of California. So it seems to be part of the play. I think Michelle Obama would be the better pick for the Democrats, because it would activate a lot of the young liberals out there that look up to Michelle Obama. There's a lot of them out there. My sister, I don't know if she still does, but there was a period of time where she was all about Michelle Obama, my younger sister. And she went to a big public university and everything else. And so I know there's a lot of Michelle Obama supporters, and I think she would have been the better pick, but maybe she doesn't want to do it, and I don't blame her necessarily for not wanting to do it. So they'll go with Kamala, and we know Kamala has she has served her way up the ladder. Let's just leave it there. So maybe she's doing a little bit more servicing to continue to rise in the ranks. And honestly, again, in the context of the elections being a truly fair thing, which we know it's not, I still don't think Kamala would be able to beat Trump. I just don't think so. There's something to be said about right now. You know, the red wave is washing over America, and everybody wants to vote Trump and all this kind of stuff. And maybe the Epstein story is a way to throw a little wrench in that. But we still have some time. I think we're how many days away from the actual election? I think we're like 100 and something days away. So still got a little bit of time. A lot can happen, and it's going to be a ride. It's going to be an interesting ride as we go through the rest of this year. Hold on to your car seats, because I know you guys are all in car seats, because it's going to get wild. All right, let's move on this beautiful Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday.
Hey guys, know what day it is? It's Wednesday. Time for the Canary Cry News Talk. Yeehaw!
Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday, my dude.
Really? I think that was Joe. I think Joe was screaming. Yep, it's Wednesday. We're here again. Basil's out. Can't do nothing about that. Maybe he's listening. Let's see. Did anybody tag Basil in the spaces? There's only a few people in the spaces here. I wish there was a way to do that in the regular chat, but oh, there you go. Yeah, Sir Dylan's on it. Thank you, Sir Dylan. Appreciate you doing that. And we'll see. We'll see if I think Basil might still be in the dentist chair. Well, it's been a couple hours since his appointment. They must be really adding some grills to his teeth or something like that. Yeah, I did want to mention that we did do our X Twitter Spaces yesterday, and I went on a little rant about how to survive the divide and conquer tactics that are out there, and grounding it in Scripture, talking about God, talking about eschatology. And we're going to do more of that, because it was really cool to actually be able to speak to the producers and knights, particularly Sir Darren, Knight of the Hungry Pandas, and Sir Dylan, Knight of the Wailing Avian. They both hopped up on stage, and it's really cool to be able to converse with them after so many years of producing the show. And yeah, I just recommend everybody go get an X account, go follow at Face Like the Sun. It's free to do all that. Go follow at Basil_Rosewater. Go follow at Canary Cry Radio. Turn on notifications for all three of us, or all three accounts, I guess. The Canary Cry account is a joint account. But do that, and we'll do more spaces. We'll probably have more guests and do guest speaking and stuff that way, or guest interviews that way. And we'll try to publish something. I was chatting with Basil, and we're talking about how between us, and I know, we're big fans of No Agenda and John and Adam over there. And they publish 2 episodes a week on Thursday and Sunday. And I was just brainstorming with Basil. Hey, the way we're moving right now, we can literally publish a piece of content every other day that No Agenda doesn't publish. So Monday we have a Canary Cry News Talk. Usually those are the long episodes where we, cover things from the weekend and everything else. And then Tuesdays, we'll do the spaces. Wednesdays, we'll do another Canary Cry News Talk, maybe a little bit shorter. Thursdays are the days that we don't have anything right now. And then Friday, Basil's Bunker. And then Saturday, we don't have anything. But if we can fill up our content, or no, Thursday's No Agenda. That's right. Thursday's No Agenda. So you got your Thursday No Agenda, you got your Friday Basil's Bunker, and then Saturday maybe Sabbath. Maybe we take the day off or something. But it's just something we thought about. Like, hey, we can really make it so we're publishing and pumping out content daily, and not that we don't have anything to do with No Agenda other than we are big fans and we support them, and we were inspired by them and learn from them in terms of the value for value model. So we recommend everybody go check out that show because they've been doing it for a long time, and they do a great job breaking down news media, and they have some good takes that have rung true over the years, very similar to ours. They don't necessarily bring the biblical angle that we do, but that's okay. It's part of the difference between us and No Agenda. But yeah, the Twitter X, I keep saying Twitter, but that's just a habit. The X Spaces is really cool. Really think it's a way to galvanize the community, and so we're going to continue to build on that. And that's why I tried to do the spaces here along with the broadcast live on video. I'm checking it out now. Looks like, yeah, there's a few people in here in the spaces. Title, Heather, Max, Christopher, and Miguel. Thank you guys for hanging out in the spaces. And yeah, thank you to everybody who's in the chat on Rumble, on YouTube, on, I guess, do people really still watch on Odyssey? We always broadcast on Odyssey. I don't know if anyone's watching on Odyssey. Rockfin, we're there. We're actually broadcasting on Kick. I don't know how many people watch us on Kick either, but yeah, we just try to be available everywhere because we know the censorship is strong. We know some of the social engineers don't like us talking about certain things and whatnot. So there you go. Okay. I am going to spend this time. Usually we thank our executive producers, and we will definitely continue to do that, but we will skip on the executive producers and financial producers today, thanking them publicly anyway, because no Basil, and I don't want to mess up any of the accounting going on in the back end. So instead, I want to go ahead and thank our producers coming in with talent. So something that we do here, the way we operate as a podcast, it would be very easy for us to do advertising, to do partnerships, affiliate codes, and there's a way to be successful as podcasters and do all that stuff. And there are many podcasters that are successful having partnerships, having different products, maybe like white labeled products or, information products. And we just decided not to go that route. And it was based on the fact that we speak our minds, Basil and I, and many people who are either guests or, decide to hop up in spaces or something like that. A lot of us have been censored for speaking our mind. And the censorship is not just coming from one side of the aisle. It is the common denominator seems to be Christians, specifically believers who are talking about some of the more fringier topics and, framing certain things going on in a little bit more of the fringy eschatological context. And I know I got severely hit with that during COVID. And, part of it, I think at this point, what I'm about to mention, I was pretty bitter. I was kind of bitter about the whole situation. I made a video right during the pandemic called The Real Virus. And it wasn't about COVID. It was about sin. And YouTube took that thing down immediately. I mean, I don't think I had 10 minutes after I uploaded that and hit publish. It was gone. And they said it was medical misinformation. I was like, I talked about sin. I'm not even really talking about the pandemic and the virus and COVID and all that. I probably mentioned it, but I was talking about sin. And YouTube's like, nope, can't do it. Can't have the title, the real virus or whatever it was. And obviously, if you had advertising partners and deals with big companies or marketing deals or something like that, they would not be happy if you said something and your content got taken down, especially if maybe that was the episode you were supposed to pitch that waffle maker or something, right? Which, by the way, I thought it was hilarious that Joe Biden went to the Waffle House right after the debate, because one of our long-standing ISOs on the show and talking about this issue of advertising, value for value. We isolated a clip from Ben Shapiro years ago. This is way before all of this stuff right now with Zionism and all that was public, and people are mad at the Israel supporters and all that. Well before that, this is sort of in the heyday of Ben Shapiro rising to power, rising to prominence during the conservative uprising, so to speak, in the last decade. We isolated this clip. Now, I'm going to play the whole 10 seconds, and then I'll play the ISO. It's Ben Shapiro talking about Joe Biden's policy or something like that, and then he goes and he pivots right into his ad.
As we will see, there are some questions to be brought about just how much of a friend to democracy and freedom of the press Joe Biden is. And meanwhile, the media continue to craft that narrative in just 1 second. First, let us talk about the fact that everybody loves waffles. Everybody loves waffles. Everybody loves waffles.
That's all I can think of when I saw Joe at the Waffle House. Is Ben Shapiro pitching the waffle maker while Joe sort of happily ordered waffles. It was Joe and Jill at that Waffle House right after the debate. So anyway, I'm trying to pull up a picture of it just because it was, it's a funny moment. American history, folks.
Everybody loves waffles.
Ordering waffles late night after debate, where where Jill was so proud. He answered all the questions. And here's Ben Shapiro.
Everybody loves waffles.
Okay, so anyway, back to the value for value thing. We do it the way we do because we just want to say whatever we want to say, whatever's on our mind. We want to share the gospel. We want to just have our opinions and not be censored and not feel like, oh, no, I can't say that because, YouTube will take us down or our advertising partners won't be happy or whatever the case may be. It's not the way to create content, at least in my opinion. I know many people who played the game. There were some YouTubers that I remember watching that kept their channels, and they were up there and they're talking and they were like, the thing, wink, wink, the thing that everyone's talking about, right? The thing, and then the jab, that we're not supposed to talk about, and they kept their channels. And I'm like, man, come on, let's just say what we need to say. Free speech, folks. Of course, I didn't bring this article to the show, but people were sharing it around, that op-ed from the New York Times. I think I just lost the article here. Where's my history? It was a story about, or an opinion piece on Joe Biden, or the whole, presidency thing, or the First Amendment, actually. I'm sorry. It was about the First Amendment. I'm trying to just pull up the headline. I'm sorry. Give me a second here. Let's find it. Come on, New York Times. Give me the article. Here we go. There's the article. It's from New York Times. I got to do the paywall thing. And the headline is Opinion, the First Amendment is out of control. The First Amendment is out of control, folks. Oh, no. It's gone haywire. So that's the New York Times. So again, I don't want to participate in any of that nonsense. So that's why we go value for value. And to summarize value for value, if you are new to the idea.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
We're supported by people who get value out of the show. If you listen to this show for a few weeks or a few years even, there's people who have been mooching off of us for a long time. Basically, getting the content for free and not providing any value back. But that's okay. That's okay. We have producers. We call them producers because they are producing the show, and they do so with their time, talent, and treasure. And time being, volunteering to do timestamps or some kind of back end thing, documenting things, making clips. There's all kinds of ways to help us out in the back room. And then with talent, which is something I'll talk about or, present our talent producers in a second here. That's if you can make music, jingles. It's people who are helping us build more content, helping build the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry. And of course, with your treasure, those are people coming in with their money and their hard-earned money and blessing us and the show and the listeners who listen for free you are all being blessed as well by the producers who support the show financially. So it's a really cool system, and it's something that I think is the way moving forward. It's the way content creators like us have to operate if we are going to be free of any kind of opinions that are forced upon us to, basically sell the attention of our audience and get out a message that may not be something that we believe in for a few bucks. Okay, so that's just a principle thing. We're not going to operate on that system, the legacy system. We're going to operate on value for value. And so again, thank you to all the financial producers, the producers coming in with your treasure, whether it be a monthly thing, which the monthly people really keep the lights on around here, or if it's a one-time supporter, all the executive producers, all the knights, all the dames, all the barons. If you're part of the supply drop group, those are people who support monthly for $33.33, and they receive a little package every quarter that has all kinds of cool swag in it. Oh, by the way, I think it was Sir Dylan posted a photo of himself wearing one of our latest T-shirt council shirts. Let me try to pull it up and show it to those of you who are watching. And I guess I can throw it into the, I can pin it to the top of the spaces. Oh, I still haven't pinned the actual thing here. Hold on, let's see. I'm getting used to the spaces thing here. Okay, yep. And then here we go. This is for those of you watching. And let me just pull this up for the viewing audience. Yeah, here we go. This is Sir Dylan, Knight of the Wailing Avian. And he posted a selfie, a headless selfie. He looks like he's in a grocery store or something. He's wearing the Beast versus Harlot Revelation 17 news t-shirt that we made. Beast versus Harlot, the final presidential debate, the most important election of our lifetime, again. And it's got the Canary Cry .tube thing there. And Sir Dylan said, I may never take off this shirt. The interactions are golden. I will make a second debut at a citywide fireworks show this evening. That's the way to do it, folks. Sir Dylan, he's a knight of the Canary Cry Roundtable, which means he's provided over $1,000 worth of support over the years. And I think he's on the brink of being a baron. And he's rocking the shirt, and he's starting up conversations about it. We know that word of mouth is the best way to get the word out about the show. So thank you to Sir Dylan for that. And if you want to be a part of that, if you want to have cool t-shirts like that, you can go to canarycryt-shirtcouncil.com. It's $19.84, $19.84 a month. And you get a t-shirt every quarter that you get to vote on. Basil calls these people the most important people in the universe or something like that. So thank you very much to those of you who are producing the show with your monthly support or through some of these different platforms or programs that we offer. And the talent. Yes, helping build the culture behind the community. I want to thank some producers who came in with their art and audio.
Audio Productions. One art, please.
Okay, let's see what we got here. We got a couple of memes coming in. I'm going to start by thanking... Who am I thanking first? Marty K. Marty K. Came in with a note that reads, Hey, Gonzo, I found a track I really want to play sometime, but there are some samples in it in Japanese, so I was wondering if you can translate it so I'm sure I don't play something offensive. It's a clip, 22 seconds, and I added some Burning Man Boy Basil as some content. The track is Takatuka and Gelek Shiko. All right, am I going to get a copyright strike for the... Actually, I don't care. We don't care about the copyright strikes. I don't care about the copyright strikes as much. Where is it? I thought I had this ready and queued up, but apparently I do not. Oh, I did. Is this the... Oh, okay. Oh, now I understand what was going on. Okay. All right, let me see here. It's going to take me a moment to pull this up here properly. I'm going to do that. by doing this. Sorry, I got to do this on the fly. Thought I was a little more prepared, but apparently I was not. Okay, let's see how this works here. I'll bring this to stage, and here's Basil. Okay, all right. Thanks, Marty K. Yes, that was Japanese. And I believe the statement was, you are already dead. Yeah, you're already dead. Nani is what? So you are already dead. And then what? That's what that was, Sir Marty K. You're welcome, buddy. You can leave the check in the mail there. All right, thank you, Marty. Thanks, Marty K. And for those of you watching, that was Basil reminiscing about Carmen. It was like I guess a 80s, 90s Christian music guy. I don't know anything about it, but he got really pumped about it one time, started dancing in his googly eye outfit, and it's become it's one of those classic moments. We have a lot of moments on this show that people immortalize with all kinds of fun clips and things, and that was one of them. Basil dancing to Carmen has become sort of a meme within the Canary Cry community, and he's he's people are adding to it now, creating more layers of content on top of it. So appreciate that, Sir Marty K. Next up here we have Warrior of Yah. Warrior of Yah coming in with a couple of memes as usual. Let me pull these memes up. Okay, let's do the note first. He says, Shalom, Canary Bros. I think he meant shalom. Want to thank you guys again for all your hard work. So very thankful to get the news in this humorous style and from a couple of brothers in the faith. Keep at it, and may the Father continue to bless you and allow you to see the blessings that you miss. Well, thank you, Warrior of Yah. I appreciate it. Lately, it's been, I feel like I'm reminded of the blessings a lot more recently. In times of trouble, you know, we are reminded of all of our blessings, and it keeps us going. P.S. I'm glad Gons brought back up the weird guy, quote unquote, in the background of that Flippy video from a few weeks back. I wanted to do this meme, but it didn't make the cut. I don't want my best buddy Basil thinking I only pick on him. And it's this first meme here. It's the classic meme of the guy in the office holding a cigarette in his right hand. He's looking a little crazy. His eyes are a little crazy. Looks like he hasn't slept in a while. He's in his short-sleeved suit with the tie, or not suit, but the nice collared shirt with the tie, and he's pointing. He's got his other hand on the wall, which is covered with paper, and the red strings connecting different elements together. He's figuring it all out, and on the captions at the top it says "Gons." When he sees a pasty white human figure in a Chinese Flippy factory, which I am very alarmed that Basil didn't think it was weird. Like, he didn't think it was weird. I'm going to try to find that picture right now because I need to show it again. That was seriously one of the weirdest things ever. So what's being talked about here, basically, there was an article that we covered. It was a Flippy update a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And it was about these Chinese robots in like a Chinese car factory. And it was something about safety. It was like, to be safe or doing something or other. I forget the exact context, but yeah, they were talking about how there's still humans and, people are still helping and whatnot. But then we started looking at the video, and there were some people walking around in the background. But then there was this one guy who, I don't know, maybe it's a video thing that happened, or I don't know, something happened. And this one guy in the background, it was like the creepiest thing ever. His face was like, if you ever seen the movie Powder, you know how the guy's face was all white and like, not like you're a white man, like a Caucasian. No, this is like pasty white, like covered in powder kind of white. It was weird, man. I can't find the photo. I'm not going to be able to find it right this second, I don't think. I try to go into the archives here and see if I can find that screenshot, but I think actually, hold on. I'm curious now. I'm on the hunt. If I'm not mistaken, Stephen S. did a report, or not a report, a microfiction on this article last time, and I think he left the link to the story in his... Yeah, he did. Okay, great. I'm going to pull it up real quick. I want to show you guys, because I don't think I'm crazy. I don't think I'm crazy with this. Okay, the story was from The Sun, the Irish Sun, and it was Rise of the Bots, watches AI robot humanoids make sure cars are safe to drive as they replace human inspectors in Chinese factory. I'll play the video here. I'm trying to find that spot. It's one of those like text videos, or they're showing stuff, but then they, just show video footage. There it is. There he is. That is the creepiest thing I have ever seen. Okay, hold on. We're going to zoom in here. Oh no, the little exit button is there. Move away, exit button. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Zoom it in. Take a screenshot. Okay. And now I am going to share that screenshot with you all. And I want you to tell me, for those of you watching, if you're not watching, maybe I need to post it in Twitter, just a Twitter post so I can paste it up there in the spaces. Or if you're in spaces, just go to the pinned post on my account. Oops, sorry about that. Go to my pinned post on my account, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about here, because I'm about to show it on screen right this second. Gotta love this stuff as I do it live. Okay, here it is. Here's the zoomed in. Oh no, it's so small. Okay, I'm gonna try to. It's a little pixelated because, he's really small in the background. But what is that? It's the creepiest thing ever. It's a humanoid face, and it's completely like snow white. It is pure white. I don't know what they said. They're getting rid of humans. Did they get rid of all humans to the point where it's even the humans that are walking around are robots or something? I mean, it's a weird piece of footage, folks. And it's a real brief moment. It's the actual footage itself. It's showing the cars, like in the factory. And this guy just pokes his head around, and he's only caught on tape for like a split second in the background. And so I don't know. Was he wearing a mask? Like what's the deal? It's so weird, man. It's so weird. Anyway. Yeah, so that's where the meme comes from. The meme comes from this. That I was freaking out about this weird guy that pokes his head around the corner from this Chinese factory. And that's why the meme says Gons when he sees a pasty white human figure in a Chinese flippy factory. All right, so just so people understand the context. There we go. The other meme coming from Warrior of Yah. It's the classic two-celled meme where you have a top and a bottom. And the top you have it's a cartoon of a guy, or a figure, I guess, a person. I don't know what to call these people. It's just like a cartoon individual, and he's sort of reaching out with both hands, reaching out to a bubble, and the caption on the person says, "This man from Scranton," and then the bubble says that he's reaching for, it says 4 more years, right? Because Joe, he's trying to get 4 more years. And then the next cell below it has the creepy, I don't even know what it is. It's like a pink monster or something, wrapping his hands uncomfortably around the person who is trying to reach for that bubble, and that creepy little entity says Democrats. So very accurate depiction of what's going on. Joe is looking for 4 more years, and the Democrats are stepping in saying, nope, no, not going to happen. We need Kamala in there. we need cackling Kamala to lead the country and the Democrat Party. So there you go. Those are a couple memes. Thank you very much, Warrior of Yah, for your contributions. Let's see. Do I have any more pieces of content from our producers today? I think that's it. Okay, that's it. Appreciate it. We do have a microfiction. I'm going to save it for Monday. Thank you, Stefan S. It's better with 2 people, with Basil doing that. So look for that. Again, thank you to all the financial supporters. We will properly thank you with the correct stuff, all the labels, the correct streaks, and all of that on Monday's episode. And so stay tuned for that. We appreciate you. And you can learn more. You can go to canarycry.support. Canarycry.support. And let's do a Flippy update. I think I'm ready for a Flippy update. Here we go.
Flippy update. Do you want fries with that?
All right, let's talk about Flippy. Flippy is the name of robots. Oh no, I don't have the tagline. Somebody in the chat, are you fast enough to type the actual tagline? Let's see. I forget what the thing. Okay, so it's Flippy is the colloquial name we use, I'm totally butchering it. Deep breath. We use talking about Flippy to explore all the ways the robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Oh, they flirt with our spouses. They teach our children. Oh my gosh, I'm completely butchering the Flippy tagline, but that's okay. That's what happens when I'm here and Basil is not. This is Basil's segment that we are doing. And with today's Flippy update, we have a story coming from NewAtlas.com, and the headline, Brain in a Jar biocomputers can now learn to control robots. You heard it here first. In 2012, if you were around back then, we had an episode, Canary Cry Radio, episode 3. It was titled Technocalypse and Obamacare Eugenics. It was published on March 29th of 2012. And we talked about the movie Technocalypse, which showed these little brain cells on top of microchips. And it was the first time I was like, whoa, they really are trying to connect tissue and like matter, like physical flesh with the machines, with the computers. And over the years, the topic of organoids became a thing. We've covered organoids multiple times on Canary Cry News Talk over the years. But now it looks like it's really hitting the news wire here. It says, living brain cells wired into organoid-on-a-chip biocomputers can now learn to drive robots, thanks to an open-source intelligent interaction system called MetaBOC or MetaBOC. Everything's meta. This remarkable project aims to rehome human brain cells in artificial bodies. They make it sound so nice, you know? They want to rehome human brain cells into artificial intelligence. Rehome brain cells. Rehome. You know, the Bible talks about how your bodies are a temple. You know, take care of it. It's important to clean up the inside as much as it is to keep the outside clean. I guess that was a cup that Jesus was using in that parable. But considering our bodies as temples in that context, It's almost like a vessel for the soul, right? It's very interesting that these scientists are starting to use similar types of context and language. You know, the remarkable project aims to rehome human brain cells in artificial bodies. You know, so the artificial body becomes the new home for your brain. And I think part of this has to do with consciousness and how material science is starting to have problems explaining the nature of reality based purely on materialism. I talked about this a lot. I talk about it a lot. I bring it up all the time, where atheists, evolutionary biologists, and people coming from that camp are not only intellectually bankrupt because everything logically leads to nihilism, where there is no purpose. If you ask an atheist, like, hey, do you have purpose in your life? Do you have meaning in life? They'll say, of course. Of course. Meaning is, yeah, but there is no grandeur of meaning. Meaning and purpose is what you make of it, which is a really funny thing because you can call them out and say, oh, okay, you're saying that meaning and purpose is a level of illusion, or dare I say delusion, that you are actively participating in. Right? You can ask an atheist that, because if they say like, oh yeah, there's no God, there's no grander purpose, then you can call them out on that. I've called out plenty of atheists on that, and they struggle to answer stuff like that when you call them out and say that, hey, your worldview leads to nihilism. Your worldview doesn't provide hope. It doesn't provide anything that's good, really. You can't even define what's good because it's all illusory to you. It's all an illusion. Good and bad is just an illusion, and that kind of thing. So anyway, in that context, let's keep going on here. Biocomputing is one of the most bizarre frontiers in emerging technology, made possible by the fact that our neurons perceive the world and act on it speaking the same language as computers do, electrical signals. Human brain cells grown in large numbers onto silicon chips can receive electrical signals from a computer, try to make sense of them, and talk back. More importantly, they can learn. The first time we encountered the concept was in the DishBrain project at Monash University, Australia. In what must have felt like a Dr. Frankenstein moment, researchers grew about 800,000 brain cells onto a chip, put it into a simulated environment, and watched this horrific cyborg abomination learn to play Pong within about 5 minutes. The project was quickly funded by the Australian military and spun out into a company called Cortical Labs. When we interviewed Cortical Labs' chief scientific officer, Brett Kagan, he told us that even at an early stage, human neurons' enhanced biocomputers appear to learn much faster using much less power than today's AI machine learning chips, while demonstrating, quote, more intuition, insight, and creativity, end quote. Our brains, after all, consume just a tiny 20 watts to run nature's most powerful neck-top computers. Boy, I hope that doesn't become a thing. You know, hey, this guy's got a good head on his shoulders. What are you, from 2010? It's not how we talk about our heads anymore. Hey, that guy's got a good neck-top computer. That's how we'll be talking about our heads and brains. Quote, we've done tests against reinforcement learning, Kagan told us, and we find that in terms of how quickly the number of samples the system has to see before it starts to show meaningful learning, it's chalk and cheese. The biological systems, even as basic and janky as they are right now, are still outperforming the best deep learning algorithms that people have generated. That's pretty wild. So these biocomputers, which are basically computers running with brain cells, interfaced with the microchips, they're running better than the current systems we have. Since we've covered similar projects at Indiana University where researchers let the brain cells self-organize into a three-dimensional, ball-shaped, brain-aware organoid before poking electrodes into them, the Swiss startup Final Spark which has started using dopamine as a reward mechanism for its neural platform biocomputing chips. I think we reported on that as well, that they were using actual dopamine to get these little neuro robots to, I don't know, have positive reinforcement. I mean, if they're doing this at the robotics level here, can you imagine how much data and how much they've figured out messing with our brains through social media and everything? Makes sense. If this is the first time you've heard about this brain-on-chip stuff, do pick your jaw off the floor and read a few of those links. This is absolutely staggering work, and now Chinese researchers say they're taking it to the next level. Oh, the Chinese always taking it to the next level. No, the Chinese are just publicizing what Black Ops science labs have been doing for years. The Meta-BOC, brain-on-chip. Oh, BOC stands for brain-on-chip. Okay, so Meta Brain-on-Chip project brings together researchers from Tianjin University. I think that's the same place where all that CRISPR stuff is going on. Heiser Laboratory of Brain-Computer Interface and Human-Computer Integration with other teams from Southern University of Science and Technology. We spoke to one of the people that we interviewed a man who worked in China helping the reverse engineering of the brain in the 80s, I think maybe early 90s. His name is Dr. Hugo de Garis. And he wrote a book called The Art-elect War, which predicts 1 billion people dying this century based on the fact that some people are going to be all about becoming a cyborg and, you know, becoming a cosmic deity, a god, basically, through technology and science. And then you're going to have your Terrans, who basically are saying, no, we're not going to merge with machine. And this is going to split society, split humanity into different classes. And then a big war is going to break out. That's his prediction. He's not a believer, although he's very friendly to believers. And I think many people have been praying for Dr. Hugo de Garis to be saved for many years. But look for that interview on Canary Cry Radio. I think that was, I want to say 2013 when we interviewed Dr. Hugo de Garis. So that was 11 years ago. And, you know, so it's been a while. We've been on top of these topics for quite a while. Let me double check real quick. Did I lose my spaces here? Are we not on spaces anymore? Are we still in there? Looks like we're still going. Okay, there's only a couple people in there anyway. Okay. All right. The Tianjin team says it's using ball-shaped organoids, much like the BrainAware team in Indiana, since their three-dimensional physical structure allows them to form more complex neural connections, much like they do in our brains. These organoids are grown under low-intensity focused ultrasound stimulation, which the researchers say seems to give them a better intelligent foundation to build on. The Meta-BOC system also tries to meet intelligence with intelligence using AI algorithms within the software to communicate with the brain cells' biological intelligence. The Tianjin team specifically mentions robotics as an integration target and provides a rather silly image above as if deliberately trying to undermine the credibility of the work. Which piece of image is that? Is that so they have an image here with it's kind of like a map, like a mind map where it has a brain. It's got some Chinese words on there and then some arrows to some brain cells. And then that thing is being changed to a microchip, and it's the whole deal. It's like the sequence of the system there. Because the brain organoid is only able to quote unquote see the world through the electrical signals provided to it, it can theoretically train itself up on how to pilot its mini Gundam. My gosh, they're Gundams in a fully simulated environment, allowing it to get most of its falling and crashing out of the way without jeopardizing its fleshly intelligence engine. Watch out, folks. Everyone, the principalities and powers, they're coming for your fleshly intelligence engines, otherwise known as your brains. And I love the images here. They have this image of what looks like a humanoid robot, kind of like a Gundam, like it says here, except at the top where the head is, you got the front of the head where it's kind of like a screen and you can show eyes and stuff. But the back of the head of this robot is opened, and sitting in a petri dish as part of his head is this little blob of goo. It looks like a ball of gum or something. And that's let me just let them explain it. Now, to be crystal clear, this is the NewAtlas. Now, to be crystal clear, the fully exposed pink lollipop-style brain organoids in the robot images above are mock-ups. Wah, wah, wah. Demonstration diagrams for future application scenarios, rather than brain-controlled prototypes. Perhaps the image below from Cortical Labs is a better representation of what these kinds of brains on chips will look like in the real world. Okay, and in this image, it's a picture of, it's a close-up of a Petri dish. It's got a little, it's a microchip in there. It just looks like a piece of, I don't know, cardboard or something, a little, I don't know, a little plastic piece or something like that. And it's got a little circular container within it, and you can sort of see the goo inside, like the pink goo. But what I find interesting is the perspiration on top. So it's got the, the Petri dish is clear, and then there's like a little microchip thing, and then there's a little container on top of the microchip where the organoid is sitting in, and then there's like a plastic cover or like a little cap on top of that circular part in the middle, and that circular part is fully, it's it's got the full little water bits on there, as if when you're in a car and you start sweating and you get that perspiration on the glass. Same thing happening here. The little brain organoids are alive. They are perspirating. They are they're creating sweat on the inside of the little chip there. Gross. So let's see. Anything else from this article? Blah blah blah. Yeah, we know it's gonna do. Frankly, I can hardly believe what I'm writing. Wow, NewAtlas author, journalist here, not even believing what he's writing. That humanity is starting to take the physical building blocks of its own mind and use them to build cyborg minds capable of intelligently controlling machines. But this is life in 2024, as we accelerate full throttle toward the mysterious technological singularity, the point where AI intelligence surpasses our own and starts developing things even faster than humans can. The point where technological progress, which is already happening at unprecedented speed, accelerates towards a vertical line, and we lose control of it altogether. What a time to be alive! And not as a clump of cells wired to a chip in a dish. Well, as far as we know. So there you go. They're upping their public display of organoid brains on microchips. Once again, I will reiterate and not rant, but reiterate. We are living in not just an age of reenchantment. I mean, it is an age of reenchantment, but doing so, this is the fulfillment of what the alchemists have been trying to do for centuries, create life out of non-life, or in this case, they're borrowing from life. There's that old joke about, competition for Satan to make man. Satan's not impressed with God making man out of dirt. And he says, well, all right, if you're not impressed, why don't you make your own man? Why don't you make your own human? And Satan says, all right, I'll do it. Let's go get some dirt. And God says, got to make your own dirt. Right? So it's kind of what's going on. They're taking God's creation, and it's very explicit in the Bible, each after their own kind. I think when God said each after their own kind, he did not mean take brain cells, put it in a petri dish, and build a robot that you'll use as a pet that will eventually become your overlords. I think, and then I go back to Revelation 13, the image of the beast. If you don't worship the image, you basically get killed. This is all what it's leading to, folks. So there you go. There's your Flippy update for today. The return of the organoids, the brain in a jar computer or biocomputer that can learn how to control robots. Flippy is going to have a brain, folks. And it's only a matter of time. A matter of time before all of our brains just become little pieces of just commodities. What do they call it? Oh man, I should have highlighted it. The the neckline. I'm trying to find the neckline. Necktop computers. That's right. Necktop computers. So there you go. And actually, this transitions right into our next article here.
Are you ready to become cyber?
My generation is, hopefully with the advances in science, the first generation to live forever, or the last generation that's going to die.
Yep, that's Jared Kushner. He doesn't have a purpose left in life other than to try to beat death. A lot of these billionaires and these moguls and stuff, they've conquered everything. They've conquered the world. They bent their knee to Satan when Satan offered them the world, and now they have the world. Now what? You know, they're going back to Satan's throne. Like, hey, thank you for the control of the human population. Now what? And then Satan's like, now we must defeat death. Just like Jesus did. So anyway, mindmattersai.com. This article is very interesting. The headline here, new podcast asks, is the world really enchanted or disenchanted? Is the world enchanted or disenchanted? And it says in the subheading here, at Created Souls and the Banquet of Souls, I want to explore the fact that human consciousness is not about to be made obsolete by AI or explained away by neuroscience. And it says in her critically acclaimed and intriguing work, God, Human, Animal, Machine, Doubleday 2021, Megan O'Giblin masterfully reflects on the provocative question of what it means to be human in an age of artificial intelligence. In a history of reflection on the possibility that, in fact, humans might not be all that different from animals, something all too common in modern and contemporary reflections, O'Giblin enters the fray. Unfortunately, she has given up on the age-old religious idea that humans are somehow, quote, uniquely related to God, even images of God as reflected in the great monotheistic religions. In fact, she entertains the live possibility for many that maybe we are not all that different from animals. Rather than seeking to resolve tensions with the older view that humans are uniquely ensouled beings in the natural world, she wrestles with the prospect that given naturalism, there it is, our world does appear to be rather disenchanted, even though science provides possible avenues for re-enchantment. Did you hear this correctly? So they're talking about this book, God, Human, Animal, Machine by Megan O'Giblin. And it's the subheading of that book is Technology, Metaphor, and the Search for Meaning. And apparently this lady Megan argues that given naturalism, we are actually disenchanted, even though science might provide avenues for re-enchantment. At least they're honest about that. These ideas are certainly at the forefront of contemporary social consciousness as questions emerge about our relationship to technology, similar to the ones that moderns were raising when respect to animals that show intelligence. These questions press us for answers. AI as a new religion. O'Giblin certainly isn't the most radical of thinkers regarding the possibilities of artificial intelligence. Within this broader discussion, there are others operating under the auspices of a new religion that seeks to foster the belief that, in fact, we are really not all that different from highly specified intelligent machines, along with our evolved kin in the animal world. Again, it's the very same argument as Richard Dawkins. We are molecules in motion. Some propose an even more radical view, a form of transhumanism. The view that evolution is occurring and will continue to occur through technology as we evolved humans become a new, higher-order species. Central to these debates are ideas about what it means to be human, the nature of ultimate reality, and the prospects of a new world governed by advanced machines. In fact, when you read some transhumanists' A new religion is precisely what they have in mind, with a new set of prophets operating under their radicalized utopian science and with ongoing possibilities regarding higher level consciousness. Further, they aim to reconceiving all fundamental notions of humanity, from the family to ethics to nations, and promises of a better future this world has not yet dreamed of. O'Giblin picks up on the common thread. Is the world really enchanted, or is it disenchanted? That's an important question, and one that we really can't ignore. It touches on the fundamental questions about the nature of consciousness, along with the basic worldview questions: meaning, purpose, morality, and life after life. And then they talk a little bit about mind matters, being in front of the conversation, which, yep, welcome to the party. We've been in front of the conversation here for over 10 years regarding these issues as well. And while these questions continue to occupy our imaginations, additional questions also deserve careful explanation and analysis, namely the questions that intersect with intelligence, consciousness, and fundamental meaning of the universe. Arguably, the tide is turning, and many now realize that consciousness is a stubborn reality that naturalists can't explain away and most struggle to deal with. Thus, we are faced with addressing interfacing questions of consciousness, namely whether or not there exists gods or God, as the old traditional religions taught. So, you know, it's funny, these articles nowadays summarizing a lot of the sentiment that I've shared publicly since 2011. And I'm not saying that I'm, so smart or I'm so on top of it. It's just, again, as watchmen on the watchtower, we are standing up on the watchtower. We're looking over the horizon. We're seeing what's coming, and we report on it. And usually, maybe sometimes the stuff that's coming is a little bit further out, and it's not an immediate thing, but time just keeps going forward, and eventually it might be a topic of concern, as it is with transhumanism nowadays. Last paragraph here, it says that they're talking about consciousness. There are divergent perspectives on for which the purpose of consciousness is a live discussion. What is slowly ceasing to be a live discussion is whether consciousness is ultimately physical in nature, explained by physics and chemistry, and adequately analyzed through the quote-unquote scientific method. Despite what Scientific American might tell you, this doesn't render science or the scientific method irrelevant, but it does demand a richer discussion at the intersection of religion and science. And I'm glad people are thinking in this direction, because they noticed the religion of the technocrats, the transhumanists, the post-humans, the folks who, again, like Jared Kushner.
My generation is, hopefully with the advances in science, the first generation to live forever, or the last generation that's going to die.
That type of mentality doesn't come unless you're dabbling and pouring in funds to research labs and groups that are trying to defeat death, trying to reverse aging, all that kind of stuff. So that's where we're at. And that's why we keep preaching on the show, as it were in the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be, because truly we are living in the days of Noah, where if you look back, it wasn't just that people were mean to each other. Clearly, there was some kind of genetic tampering that happened, some kind of egregious act on creation, on how God made each after their own kind. And if you look at any relevant extra biblical books like the Book of Enoch or even the Book of Jasher, depending on how you want to look at that, it's pretty clear that a lot of crazy stuff was going on before the flood. It's where a lot of our mythologies come from all different religions and worldviews around the world. And it makes sense that we're living in a time, once again, where such things are coming to pass, and we may see some very strange things in the future. So stay grounded, folks. Stay grounded in the word. Stay grounded in the truth, and the truth will set you free. It's the narrow path. So I'm not going to do a break here. I'm going to go just pile right on through and wrap the show up pretty soon here. We're about 2 hours in. I got one more article here. It's Antarctica adjacent. And Let's just do it.
So a new discovery. Antarctica.
Clearly in the bottom of our planet. Advanced Antarctica. Climate crisis.
Penguins.
Yeah. This story is very interesting. It's coming from forward.com. It's one of those bigger outlets. And the headline is, How an Airplane Mechanic Named Benny Roth Became the First Jew to Set Foot on Antarctica. Okay. There's a picture here of Commander Byrd, famous explorer. It says here, when Commander Richard Byrd, an aviator, polar explorer, and American hero who had been feted with a ticker tape parade in New York City, was looking for the country's best airplane mechanic to help him become the first man to reach the South Pole by air in 1928. He was quickly settled by Benjamin Benny Roth, who would soon become the first Jew to step foot on Antarctica. Though a handful of hardy Jews, including the German doctor Emil Bessels of the Polaris and the Michigan-born Edward Israel of the Greely expedition, had made it to the northern regions as part of Arctic expeditions in the 19th century, no member of the tribe had before been a part of any of the expeditions to the south during this so-called, quote, heroic age of Antarctic exploration that lasted from the end of the 19th century into the early 1920s. At 5'3", Roth was the shortest man on the expedition. He was in his late 30s, quiet and unassuming, but also, quote, a typical sergeant, kind of tough and hard-bitten, end quote, according to Byrd's pilot, the Norwegian Bernt Balkren. Born of the Lower East Side of New York on Avenue A, and orphaned at a tender age, Roth had drifted from job to job doing mostly mechanical work until he joined the Army at age 24. Discharged in 1919, he spent a few years as a car mechanic in Brooklyn before rejoining in 1921. An expert in motor construction and repair, with a particular interest in airplanes, Roth rose to the rank of Staff Sergeant in the U.S. Army Air Corps by 1928. During 3 months' furlough after returning from services in the Philippines, he took a temporary job working at the Curtiss Wright airplane plant in New Jersey, which is where he was when he heard Byrd wanted him for his upcoming expedition. Byrd had asked Army officials to recommend the best airplane mechanic currently working, and they had unhesitatingly put forward Roth, who, like Byrd, was a registered Mason. There it is. Byrd was a Freemason, and so was this Jew named Roth. The first Jew to step foot on Antarctica, he was a Mason as well. Interesting. Roth won a berth on the whaler Larsen, one of the 4 ships ferrying Byrd's expedition members and supplies to Antarctica. Roth proudly claimed that even though his career up to that point had been land-based, he did not get seasick at all during the month-long voyage to Antarctica. After reaching New Zealand, he transferred over to the expedition's flagship, which then set off for Antarctic shores in November 1928. The expedition landed on the shores of the Ross Ice Shelf, then known as the Great Ice Barrier, in December. The ship's City of New York and the Eleanor Balling anchored themselves in the blah, 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 blah. Okay, stuff happened. Some history there. And again, all of these articles are in the show notes if you want to read it for yourself. And it goes into some stuff here. Let's see. Let's find the other things here. Specifically, they get really, they talk about the Jewish part of Roth here. Thanks to here we go. Thanks in part to Roth's expert work, not a single mechanical failure occurred on any of these flights. Later on here, a party did have to be rescued from the Rockefeller Mountains, but that was because the harsh weather had damaged their plane while it was on the ground, not because of any problem with the engines. Overall, and certainly as regard As regards Benny Roth, the expedition was a major success. Fond of Jewish food, but not a particularly observant Jew himself. Oh, not even an observant Jew. Roth carried with him a little America as, carried with him to Little America a talus, a tzizi, I forgot how to say that. Spelled T-Z-I-T, T-Z-I-T. What is it? Tiz? Zit? I forget what it was. Tefillin and Sidur, given to him by his more observant brother Samuel. He admitted to a reporter that he didn't use them, but did enjoy explaining why they were to what they were to other expedition members. It just talks about his Jewishness and being the first Jew to ever step foot on Antarctica. 1932, Roth married a divorcee, Mary Myers, with a young daughter, Eleanor, and they lived in army housing near the airfield. Byrd was invited to the wedding and sent Roth a letter of congratulations. The admiral had kept in touch with all of his men, including Roth, providing them letters of recommendation, photo albums of the expedition, and in Roth's case, a specifically autographed photograph of himself for Roth to remember him by. Roth did not return to Antarctica when Byrd went back in 1933, but remained with the military. By the time of his death in 1967, he had risen quietly and efficiently to a commissioned rank as captain in the U.S. Air Force. His headstone in Long Island National Cemetery shows no indication of the fact that he was the first Jew to visit the Great White South. Okay, so there you go. Talk about getting all the wokeness and exporting it to Antarctica. This is just another case here, but doing it in the very hostile Jewish context, which is a hot topic right now, given the Gaza situation and the splitting of the Conservative Party. I ranted about all that yesterday. And so pretty interesting. But I think that the big giveaway is, and we knew this, we knew Byrd was a Mason, but, just very interesting when you have a couple of Masons, including Admiral Byrd and the first Jew to step foot in Antarctica, Roth, being described as Masons. As the world turns or spins or whatever you believe is going on, or the world spins around us, we are going to wrap it up here. But before we do, I have a couple of speak pipes to knock out here.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
Go to canarycrynewstalk.com. On any of the pages, there's a green tab on the right side or the bottom. You click on it, and it'll open a little window that allows you to record an audio message through your device of up to 90 seconds. And you can leave all kinds of stuff there. If you want to address the Canarium, you can do so. If it's a private message, please let us know at the top so we don't accidentally play it on air. You can leave a meetup report. Some people sing songs, scripture. Oh, you could do pre-show prayers as well. Thank you, Anthony H., for another pre-show prayer. We accept cameos from celebrities, politicians, athletes, deceased mafia members. All the above. Go ahead and do that. We have a couple pieces to play when it comes to speak pipe notes here. And let me just pull them up. I thought I had these ready to go, but apparently I don't. The first one, actually it's only one maybe, is from Sir Ike.
Hey Canary family, this is Sir Ike here. I just want to give all the supply droppers out there an update on Q2. If everything goes according to plan today, I should be able to have all of the people that live in the States in the mail today, providing everything goes good. So hopefully you could be looking for those in the next few days. Also, whenever you open your box, make sure to look inside the coffee cup because the keychain is tucked inside in the plastic. So I don't want people to throw those away. Just make sure and check that so you don't lose that. Also, I want to put a shout out for people. We need artists right now. Me and Ebony Blaze are working on the calendar for Q4. We're beginning that project right now. So if you're an artist out there and you would love to take part in the calendar project, we would love to talk to you. We have, I think, 5 months left that we don't have artists for. So please reach out to me at canarycrysupply.drop@gmail.com, and I will get with you. Thanks.
There you go. Thank you very much, Sir Ike. And in fact, I shared a screenshot, an image of the calendar for this month. Let me see if I can pull that up for people watching, hanging out. I'm going to post it in Spaces first, and then I'm going to pull it up on the screen for people watching so you guys can see the calendar. And it's a very cool calendar. It's got all kinds of cool stuff on there that you won't normally get on a normal calendar. For example, yesterday was World UFO Day. I thought that was a couple weeks before, but what do I know? I'm just following the calendar. Tomorrow, Thursday, something called Independence Day. Did you guys know about that? This is America's Independence Day. I hope Joe is shown cooking waffles on the grill tomorrow, or maybe it's Chuck Schumer making trying to make some hot dogs or something. But yeah, there's all kinds of cool little factoids on here. A lot of cool artwork. There's a lot of Canary Cry references on certain dates, memorializing certain things that happened on the show. And we are extremely grateful for the producers who put this together. Basil and I don't do anything other than talk about it and tell everybody to go support the supply drop to receive one. But yeah, the producers do this on their own. They put the art together. They put the calendar together, the whole deal. So it's a very cool community project. And if you'd like one, become a supply dropper. Or even better, if you'd like to participate in helping shape the calendar for 2025, go ahead and contact Sir Ike. I think it's canarycrysupply.drop@gmail.com, and participate. Jump in. Help out building the culture behind the community. Sometimes we say, become the content. Don't just consume the content, but become the content. Become the content. There you go. And I think that's the only speak pipe we had today. So thank you very much to Sir Ike for the reminder. And I think that's all I had for today, everybody. Very tired for some reason today. Solo show. Getting the son, he's so close to being fully potty trained. We just got to get over that final brown hill. The final brown hill, if you know what I'm talking about. And then he'll be fully potty trained. And I don't know how many of you have kids out there, but I will say boys way harder to potty train than girls, at least in our experience. My daughter was just, it was easy, a piece of cake. She figured it out. It took her twice or something, just be like, oh, I get it now. I go potty here. But my son, he's figured out the number one, but number two, he does not like number two. But he also jokes about number two all the time now. So anyway, if anybody has any tips, let me know. There was one tip that we got from a parent that actually worked. A parent told us, hey, you just tell your child that they're potty trained. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, and then do it. And that actually worked, because we were having trouble getting him to actually run to the restroom if he has to go. And one time we just told him, hey, you're already potty trained. And he went, oh, I'm potty trained. You're right. And he walked to the restroom on his own. And we were like, oh, hallelujah. Some parenting tips that worked. So there you go. Okay. I'm just trying to wrap up here and have a moment to thank our producers who came in with their time. It's all the stuff happening in the back rooms under the hood. And inside baseball, as Alex Jones says. Starting with the Clippies. Thank you, Clippies.
Clippy on those videos. Thanks.
Thank you to all the Clippies doing work. Appreciate you. And also thank you to the timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Yeah, and I think for last episode, it was Morgan E. who did the timestamps. We can always use more timestampers, folks. You can either do it live or do it after the show. It's a very helpful thing. It helps us find stuff we talked about years later. So it's a very important part of our existence here. So thank you very much to Morgan E. and Jade Bouncerson, both who operate the timestamps at the moment. And again, it would be one of those things where you only have to do it once every couple weeks or once a month or whatever you can do. So we appreciate it, especially if you're listening to the show anyway. Just a little notepad out and some timestamps to when things transition or something like that would be very, very helpful. So, all righty, let's see what else. Oh, you know what? I'm going to mention this. We haven't had a review on Canary Cry News Talk, at least on Apple Podcasts, since May 22nd. It's been, we're coming up on 2 months without a review on Apple Podcast. And I get it. Apple Podcasts is not the greatest platform, but we've been trying to hit 1,000 ratings on this thing for a long time. So help us get there. Leave a rating and a review with Apple Podcast and help us get found on by different people looking for stuff. That's another thing why I wanted to do, another reason why I wanted to do X Spaces. Just yesterday when we were doing X Spaces, a lady came up onto the stage and spoke, and she was sort of saying all the stuff that similar type of jive or vibe. I don't know what jive is. We jiving or we vibing? I don't know. So she was basically saying a lot of the stuff that we talk about. So I asked her, hey, do you listen to Canary Cry News Talk? And she said, no. And I said, oh, well, I played her As the Days of Noah Were jingle. And hopefully, if you're that person, you're listening today and you're listening to a new show and you have a new community of people who think alike at the very least. So yeah, that's just another way to share the show. So appreciate it. Let's see. I think that's it. Let me, I'm going to text Basil. I'm going to see what he's up to because he got in that dentist chair quite a while ago. I'm just going to give him a generic text here and see if he responds. We'll see what happens. I think he told me his appointment was at 11 Pacific time. It's 2 p.m. It's been 3 hours since his appointment. So if he's still in that chair, man, maybe they're doing something else. Maybe they're switching out. The Basil's the next presidential candidate. They got to give him a facelift. All right, wrapping it up here. Let's call it a show. If you got something out of the show, please provide value back. And that comes in all kinds of forms, whether it's your time, your talent, or your treasure, or something as simple as sharing the show with friends or family. You can, I don't know, get a little petri dish and get a little organoid in there. Doesn't have to be from your brain. It can be from another brain. And then you can, start sending selfies of the brain organoid and say, hey, I'm me here in this body, but also I'm hedging my bets and I'm creating this other robot body, and this little brain is going to control this robot. And you better be nice. You better be nice to me. You better be nice to the Canary boys. Otherwise, these organoid robots are going to come after you. And we have all the goods on making that happen. We know the people. And you can just threaten them. You start threatening people to listen to the show. That might work. All right, that's my poor, terrible attempt at relating to a story from the show and mixing it into some kind of pitch at the end of the show here. Basil is the genius at doing that. I am terrible at it. That's why he does it, and I don't. And I think that's it. You can do all that. You can, if your friends or your family are afraid of the organoid and they're not feeling too comfortable about it, they're like, that's weird, bro. What are you talking about? Well, you can do the alternative, which is you just walk right up to him. You grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted. I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
All right, this is the part where I get to say something. Hope everyone has a fun, relaxing 4th of July. And let's see. Oh, you know what? According to the Canary Cry calendar, July 4th tomorrow will be the 12th anniversary of CERN confirming the existence of the Higgs boson particle, or the God particle. So you can bring that up. You can quiz your friends and how smart they are with that trivia about this day in history in 2012. What happened? They figured out the key to the portal. What else is there? Oh, and then Friday is the anniversary of Jeff Bezos incorporating Amazon. Saturday. This Saturday is the 2-year anniversary of the demolishing of the Georgia Guidestones. Remember, they took down the Georgia Guidestones. It's been 2 years since they did that. Wow. And what else? Oh, 1967 on the 5th on Friday, FOIA goes into, or the Freedom of Information Act goes into effect. That was in 1967. A lot happening. And then on Sunday, Tell the Truth Day, which is perfect. All right. Thank you, guys. Hope you guys had a good time here. We'll see you guys on Monday, or you'll see Basil on Friday in Basil's bunker. Have an awesome day. God bless. And remember to think outside the cage.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
Cosmos, children in the space lane.
I'm an adult in a spaceship.
Supersonic space lane screamed to life and the vehicle swooped upward. On board, the passengers experienced 3 G's of force from the burst of extreme acceleration and watched the blue sky fade into space.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Oh, yeah.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Yes. Do it, Richard. Do it, Jeff. Do it for humanity.
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship.
He can accomplish it. You can too. Big windows, cool. Rocket ship, cool. Space plane, cool.
Nukes,
cool.
Blowing stuff up,
cool. Space plane, astronaut, rocket ship.
CBS anchor.
We have Bezos. He's a human. Just look at him. Go to the bathroom in bags. He can go to the bathroom in the cosmos. It changed everything. Wives in space, children in the cosmos. With your best friend brother. Wives in the cosmos, children in the space lane.
We are headed to space.
Don't even get me started on bidets, man. Bidets, man. Bidets, man. I'm telling you, you were living the life, man. Bidets, man.
Give me a break.
Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an image. It might seem scary, so frightening. Get ready for it.
a break.
Give me a break.
Give me a break.
Give me a break.
Break. Give me a break. Break.
Give me a break.
It's like I got the Neuralink upgrade or something, right?
Sure is. Sounds, I feel like a SoundCloud rapper now. Changing the intro music has historically been the most traumatizing possible thing we can do to people.
Yeah. People get really upset. People get really upset.
Fun. I mean, I'm not gonna make a big long thing about it, but getting like traumatizing specifically, you know, kind of other ways to produce trauma.
Guns, man, you know what's going on. Guns. Canary crying news talk, man, what's going on? Gotta turn it on, shows coming on live. VPN on when I'm going online. Anonymity, man, cryptocurrency. We got everything you need, get it 3 times a week. Jesus Christ, your King, let the Holy Spirit speak. Battle in the cage, gotta set the captive free. Value for value, to me it's not free. Wish I had a longer streak, but this creativity, go fulfill the 3 T's. That's time, treasure, talent. Give it right back, put it right back in balance. Not right or left, we not with the distractions. Catastrophes are the classic techniques, all attacks of the enemy. Getting defeated, underneath the feet of Jesus. Just believe us, media is trying to deceive you. Gotta read between the lines till you see through the disguise. It's a slit reptilian eye sitting on top of the pyramid. Got a myriad of topics, might be on a watch list. R.I.P. face like the sun, but you cannot stop this. Like the Lord's gonna come stop this beast system and this infinite wisdom. Yeah, when the time is right, yeah, we're gonna take flight like a thief in the night. So I gotta get it right. I gotta repent and sit patient. Waiting for supply drop. Google eyes don't blink, man. I need some eye drops. Google mind deep thinking for the AI thoughts. Yeah, Basil, guns. Man, you know what's going on. Basil, guns. Never cry news talk, man, what's going on. Basil, guns. Man, you know what's going on. Basil. Never cry news talk, man, what's going on.
I love the Great Reset.
Let's invite some dudes over and fellowship tonight.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canary cry back support.